Everybody's doing well. Had a great day. Spent a couple minutes talking about DR for today. I didn't do a video yesterday. I was only able to take one trade, and it was a pretty simple one, so I didn't want to bore you guys with that one. So, and DR yesterday was pretty simple as far as it followed the rules specifically, and there wasn't a whole lot to kind of talk about. So, but let's talk about today. Today I had a few trades, and I'm gonna talk about ones where I probably did wrong, and then the ones where I did right. And so let's get started. All right, so I put the ladder back on here so we can kind of see where things are lining up. Today was interesting because if you notice the IDR high, IDR low, right, and where the DR high and DR low were, you looked at, like, we only had like a 16-point range today, so that was pretty small. Um, and if you look at where IDR high and IDR low were, they were basically 5 points away, IDR low to DR low. So that's a pretty big gap there, which comes into play in a second. And then this one was about a 2-point gap, if I'm not mistaken. Now, one thing that we talked about the point 0.5 fib, and just a reminder that that point 0.5 fib is actually the midpoint between IDR high and IDR low. So when we look at what happened today, it's way above DR low because how not getting that 5-point gap we had between IDR low and DR low. So interesting. That's the first time I've seen that wide. And again, that does come into play here in a second. So let's go through today uh, really quick. We had a confirmation low right after 10:30. So, all right. So what the next thing we should be expecting is a retrace. So now our retrace. Remember, again, looking at the ladder, I'm looking for DR low first and then IDR low. So the first trade we came back down, came down, confirmed low, retraced up above into that DR low area. Didn't make it to IDR low. So I said, okay, well, so here's my first trade, right? So you guys know how I do this now. I'm putting my trade right on the DR low, and I left arrows on today so you guys can see it. So the DR low got confirmed here, and one thing I gotta get myself better at doing is, and I told you this before, like if I'm looking for a price to come down, I should only be taking these trades off these red candles, right? So instead I took it off the green candle. So I did get price down here, which is about 4 points from DR low. So I got in here, price came back up again and it went down. And so I'm like, okay, so I'm waiting for it to come down to right around here, which would be my 5 points. And I'm good to go. Got to about 4 points and then just reversed on me pretty hard. This huge green candle here. My stop for this trade was actually 5 points, which was up here, right on the DR low line, right? And so you can kind of see what happens. Actually, I'm sorry, my stop was 2 points, 3 points above that. That's where it's supposed to be. So I took that trade. I should have got stopped out here. It was right on the line. It didn't. So it started to come back down again. Then again, it turned back around and retraced up. So I ended up getting stopped out on this candle. So that was about a 5.5 point loss there. So I'm starting out at a deficit today. Okay, so price continues to move up. Again, it's on the 5-minute candles, of course, for DR. And I actually put in one of my chats, one of my groups. It's like, this might end up being a retirement setup day, or because the range is so low or so small that it might just end up being a false day, and price will continue to move up above DR high, which would falsify the DR for today. And so, of course, what happens? Price gets very close to IDR high, and then turns around. And so I'm like, okay, so my next step on my ladder, right, because it didn't get above IDR, is the 0.5 fib. So now I'm expecting price to come down because we confirmed low. So I put my order here and waited for it to come down. Again, I'm not worried about trying to get this up here because I'd rather wait for it to come down and stop, and take me and pick me up where it's supposed to on the ladder, versus trying to guess what's happening up here, because it could have just turned around and kept going up. And so end up getting filled on this candle. Came down some. Again, only that was roughly around 3 points. My stop was up here above the IDR high, the 2 points above or 2 ticks above. And so I'm just waiting, came back up, and then it just started to flush. I got down here, which was roughly 5 points on this candle, at the bottom of this candle. And I actually had my take profit set at 5 because I hadn't moved it yet. And so once it came down, it stopped me out there. Again, I could have held that, but I wasn't too confident because again, this range is so small. I was expecting it to actually go the other way. So took that trade. So I'm sort of back to even now, taking out fees and things like that. And then this was this was that lunchtime hour. And so not a huge fan of trading in this hour because you see we had consolidation here. And so, I didn't take any of these trades and I saw it coming down again. So I missed a lot of these trades. I actually think I took a nap right around here because I know I took a nap somewhere around lunchtime. I was actually at home today. So I missed all of this move, right? So, in my case, what I should have done or could have done would have been taking another trade here at IDR low and taking it down. This would have been 5 points easy. Or, watching it go all the way through. Because I wouldn't have gotten stopped out if I would have taken it there. And or I could have taken the one at DR low and then watched that move down. So by the time I got kind of back into it, I took a what I call a runner on this one, right? So price is coming down, huge down candle, price continues to move down. So I grabbed it here and I said, okay, if it reverses on me, I'll just get out. And so this is about 3 points that it just came down and then it reversed and started moving back up. Okay, so so now I'm up like 2.5 points for the day, I believe. And now remember, our price confirmed low, so I'm not really trying to take this trade here. And so the next trade I took was once price went back above DR low, and then it actually started coming back down. I jumped back in here again on IDR low. Order was set at DR low, excuse me, and that was I think that was 5 points there. Actually, it was 5 points there. So I'm up 8 points for the day. A lot of movement for 8 points, but based on kind of how I traded, I was okay with that. The last trade I took was a 1-pointer, believe it or not, because I kept saying like price keeps moving back up above or keeps wanting to go higher, and so I need to let me not buck the trend as much. So I jumped in here on this candle, and okay, price started going up, then it started coming back down again, and this was right around 350, 345. And so I actually closed myself out of this trade like with a 1 point. And the reason why I came out of that trade was because at 350, 349, 350, I like to jump in on an end of day SPX trade, right? Option trade. And so I ended up doing that. I think I went to the 39, 38.70s, 39.70s. I know it's the 70s. And they were at 45 cents on the option side. And watch this run up happen there. I end up getting stopped out at $2 on those option trades. So it's at 300% move in the last I think last 3-4 minutes there. So anyway, so that was my so that's what I like to do at the end of the day. So once around 3:30 happens, I tend to go away from DR just because I can make a pretty good return on an options trade just in the last 10-15 minutes or so. But so anyway, so that was the that was DR for today, and my trading journey for today. And again, could have had a lot of I could have been much more successful, but I was kind of in and out. I took a nap or I had a meeting or things like that. So I was able to jump in on certain points. I still stuck to my rules except for this one trade here where I just took a flyer on. But again, the rules are, get in or out on or get in on the rungs based on where price is, and just have a pretty short, pretty tight stop. So, I'm risking 3-5 points with the goal of making 5 to 10 points on a scalp, and that seems to be working out pretty well. So, hopefully this was helpful. If you guys did some DR trades today, put them in the chat, put them in the comments. Let's talk about what you did and why you did it. And we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great night.